Congratulations to the class of 2020. You know, I am actually delivering your commencement speech right now from inside of Bailey Hall, and I'm looking out at a bunch of empty seats. But as I stand here, I don't just see empty seats. I see all of you who have paid the price, who have made the commitment, who put in the long hours, who had to work the extra job to make it through. And as if all of that wasn't enough, you found yourself in the middle of this pandemic where your life was turned completely upside down. Your classroom was disrupted, and you had to complete your courses virtually. But you know what? None of that was able to stop you. You still managed to make it to the finish line. And that is nothing to take lightly. And although I may never have an opportunity to meet you in person, that tells me everything that I need to know about you. It tells me that you have the ability to finish. You don't just start, but you have the ability to finish. And by far, that is one of the #1 characteristics to be able to have success in life. And so today we honor you. Your family members honor you. Broward College honors you because you honored yourself by making it to the finish line. And so I'm gonna ask your friends, your family members, your brothers, your sister, your mom, your aunt, and all of those that are celebrating you right now to join me in giving you a round of applause, to celebrate you for making it to the finish line. Give yourselves a round of applause with me right now, please. So as I was thinking about what I wanted to share with you today, I started thinking about being in your seats at one point. And to be quite honest with you, as I was sitting in your seats graduating from Florida State University, I was not graduating in the midst of the coronavirus. And I most certainly didn't have to deal with all of the circumstances that you're gonna have to deal with and the uncertainty. And so I started thinking about what is it I could share with you that would give you some firm footing, that would set you up to have success, that would help you to make it through this season and all the other seasons in your life. And so there are 3 things that I wanna share with you. And I believe that if you implement these things in your life, that you'll be able to make it through this season, but that you'll also have massive success in your life. And the first thing that I want to share with you is this. Make sure that you have a vision for your life. I'm talking about a big vision. Create a vision for your life. And make sure you hold on to that vision and that you don't focus on the circumstances. You see, life has a way of presenting you with circumstances. I'm talking about the kind of circumstances that'll get you to stop focusing on your vision, like what we're dealing with right now. The uncertainty, the social distancing. But I want you to understand that those circumstances are nothing more than distractions to keep you away from focusing on your dream and your vision. And so the whole reason why you enrolled here at Broward College is because you had a vision for your life. And you have accomplished a part of that vision, but I'm gonna challenge you to increase that vision, to have a big dream and a big vision for your life. I remember being at a place in my life where I had a vision. And had you known me at that time, you would have thought I was crazy. Because if you would have looked at my circumstances, you would have realized that I had nothing to substantiate my vision. I was working as an accountant, and I had this dream and this vision of becoming a professional speaker. And I remember people around me saying, Andy, what do you think you're doing? You want to become a professional speaker? You're an accountant. And I remember I didn't know anyone who was a professional speaker. I had no idea how you even start in becoming a professional speaker. I most certainly didn't have an audience to speak to. However, I was willing to hold on to the vision. So much so that once a week I would go in my backyard and I would deliver speeches to a row of trees in my backyard. And I know that sounds crazy. And I would talk to the trees and I would deliver motivational messages to the trees. I would tell the trees to raise their hand. I would even ask them to respond and say, yes, yes. I know that sounds crazy. And one particular day I was out there talking to the trees, acting as if the trees were my audience. And my neighbor was in her backyard and she saw me speaking to the trees. And I remember looking over at my neighbor and I was completely embarrassed. And I thought about for a moment, giving up on my hopes, giving up on my vision. And then I realized this, that from the vantage point of my neighbor, she was looking at me and she thought I was speaking to the trees. And she thought I was crazy in many ways. But from where I was looking, I saw the vision. I saw the future audiences. I saw the people that I'd be speaking to. And because I was willing to hold on to the vision, those trees turn into large audiences. And first they start off with audiences of 10 people, and then 50, and then 100, and then hundreds, and then thousands of people, all because I was willing to hold on to the vision. And so I'm gonna challenge you right now to have a big vision for your life. And don't concern yourself with what other people think. And don't concern yourself with the circumstances, because they're nothing more than distractions to keep you away from your vision. The second thing I want you to realize is this. It's important that as you enter this season in your life, that you make sure that you chase down your passion and that you don't simply chase a paycheck. You see, most people go through life working jobs that they really don't love, waking up every day fighting traffic to get to a place in which inside of them they're saying there's gotta be more than this, because no one ever shared with them and no one ever told them the importance of pursuing their passion. You see, I wish someone would have shared that with me. I graduated from Florida State University. I got my undergraduate degree in accounting. I actually graduated summa cum laude. I got my master's degree in corporate accounting. I studied like crazy to prepare and pass the CPA exam. I became a certified public accountant, and I landed a job with one of the big 4 public accounting firms, a company by the name of PricewaterhouseCoopers. And here I was working with this amazing company, with amazing people, and I had every reason to do well. But yet and still, my life was following a basic routine. I was waking up every day to the sound of an alarm clock. And inside of me, something inside was saying, Andy, there's gotta be more than this. You see, because nobody ever told me to pursue my passion. The reason why I became an accounting major is because there's an accounting teacher who pulled me aside after a test and said, hey, young man, you did great on the test. You should become an accounting major, because accountants make good money, you'll have great benefits, and you'll always have a great job. And she was well-intended, but she didn't tell me the importance of making sure that I pursued my passion. It wasn't until one day I was sitting down and listening to a speech like you are right now. And there was a gentleman on the stage, and here's what he shared. I've never heard anyone share anything like this. He said, I want you to imagine for a moment that you had all the money that you ever wanted in life. However amount of money in your bank account, 5 million, 10 million, 50 million, $100 million. And he said, I also want you to envision that whatever fears you have been taken away. The fear of failure, the fear of rejection, the fear of criticism, and even the fear of success. He said, however, there's one caveat, there's one catch. You have to wake up every single day and provide a service. What is it that you'd be willing to do every single day of your life, even if you weren't getting paid to do it? As I was sitting there and I was listening to him, I realized that for me, I wanted to be the guy on the stage. I wanted to be able to inspire people. I wanted to be able to speak life to them. I wanted to be able to encourage them. And it was that day that I made a decision to stop chasing a paycheck, but rather to start chasing down my passion. You see, somebody once said this: if you do the thing you love, you will never ever have to work one day of your life. You have already paid the price, so why get out there and do something that you're unhappy about? Why not do something that you love? Why not find a way to use your gifts, your skills, and your talents to make a global impact? The world needs you now more than ever before. So I'm gonna encourage you to make sure that you chase down your passion and that you don't just simply try to chase a paycheck. And finally, I wanna make sure that I share this with you. You see, life is going to hit you with some circumstances. Life is gonna hit you with some things that you didn't anticipate. There are gonna be some challenges. There's gonna be some setbacks. There are gonna be some things that you just didn't sign up for, like what we're all experiencing right now in the midst of the coronavirus. In the midst of this global epidemic. Most of us did not see this coming. And during those seasons in life, you've got to find some compelling reasons. You've got to find something that's going to make it worth it for you to keep pushing forward when things get challenging, when things get difficult. You see, you've got to find a compelling why. Some people call it a big why. Some people call it a big, compelling reason. I like to say that you need to find your green couch. Now, I know what you're thinking. Andy, what are you talking about, find my green couch? Let me share something with you. one of my very good friends, played in the NFL for 8 years. And I never thought much about it because he and I became friends after his NFL career. But one particular day, I was sitting down, I was watching television, and I heard an interesting statistic. And here's what they said. They said that less than 1% of all the high school football players and the collegiate football players make it into the NFL. And I started to think a little differently about my friend. I said, wow, that means that he is part of the 1%. And I don't know about you, but I think that's pretty amazing to be part of the 1%. Imagine being in the top 1% of this graduating class. Imagine being in the top 1% of your field. Imagine being in the top 1% of any field of human endeavor. That is extraordinary. And so I was once told that success leaves clues. And so I just had to ask my friend, how did you become part of the 1%? And so I asked my friend Eric, and I said, hey man, I gotta ask you a question. And I certainly don't wanna offend you, my man, but I just wanna know, how did you do it? How did you become part of the 1%? Like 99% of people who've tried to accomplish what you've accomplished tried and failed. How did you do it? And when he gave me the response, it wasn't what I thought it'd be. He said, hey man, I'm gonna come by your house and pick you up. He came by my house and he picked me up. We got in the car and he drove me over to a neighborhood in Hollywood, Florida by the name of Carver Ranches. And he drove me down the street and he said, hey man, you see that building over there? I said, I see it. It was a fourplex that he was showing me. He pointed at one of the doors. He said, you see that door over there? I said, I see it, my man. He said, I used to live in that unit. He said, it's just over 600 square feet. It was 2 bedrooms. Me and my brother Mike shared a room, and my brother Stanley and Ernest shared another room. And he said, Andy, he got real emotional. He said, for 18 years, my mom made the ultimate sacrifice. For 18 years, my mom slept on a green couch in the living room. For 18 years, my mom slept on the same couch. He said, my mom slept on the couch for so long, my friend, that the couch started to cave in the middle. Me and my brother used to run to the local grocery store and we would get cardboard boxes. We would get ripped up pieces of cloth and we would stick it up underneath the couch so that we can prop it up. Because we could tell that my mom was uncomfortable and her back was hurting. She was having lots of back issues. And he said, one particular evening I got up, and when I came up and I saw my mom, she was sleeping on the couch. She was tossing and turning. I could tell she was uncomfortable. The couch was so small that my mom's legs were hanging off on the end of the couch. And he said, my mom didn't know it, but I stood over her that day, and I said, one day, I'm gonna get my mom off the couch. He said, Andy, when I said it, had no idea how I was gonna do it, my man. I had no idea how I was gonna get my mom off that couch. He said, at that time I was playing football. And so I started to take the game a little differently because I heard some gentlemen who were in my neighborhood had made it out and became professional players and made a lot of money and were able to help their family. And he said, so I started to show up to football practice earlier than everybody else because I wanted to get my mom off the couch. He said, during practice, I would outwork everybody because I wanted to get my mom off the couch. He said, when practice ended, I would stay there an additional 2 hours and continue to work out because I wanted to get my mom off the couch. He said, that commitment, that drive, that work ethic got me a scholarship to the University of Florida. And he said, I wish I could tell you when I got to the University of Florida that everything was nice and easy. But when I got there, I was sitting on the bench. I didn't get the starting position. And he said that there are times when I was sitting on the bench that I thought about giving up, but I didn't because I wanted to get my mom off the couch. And he said, finally, I had an opportunity. The gentleman who was starting before me got hurt, and they let me into the game. And he said, Andy, I had already made a decision that if I got on that field that I was gonna outwork everybody, that I was gonna make sure that I ran on the field and ran off the field. And that work ethic, that commitment, allowed my friend Eric Rett to break most of the records at the University of Florida. And in 1994, he was a second-round draft pick, and he got drafted by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And one of the very first things that he did with his signing bonus was drive down to a neighborhood in Plantation, Florida, and he bought his mom a 4,000 square foot home, 3-car garage, and a big king-size bed. And the most important thing is he got his mom off the couch. And here's what I say to you. You got to find your green couch in life. You got to find the things that are going to make it worth it for you so that you can keep pushing forward, so that you can keep pushing through all the challenges, even what you're facing right now. Now more than ever, the world needs you. The world is waiting on your gifts, your skills, and your talents. We need for you to show up. And so I'm inviting you to, number one, make sure that you've got a big vision for your life and that you hold the vision. Don't focus on the circumstances. The circumstances are nothing more than distractions. The second thing is, I want you to chase down your passion, not chase a paycheck. You've got gifts, you've got skills, you've got talents. You need to lend those gifts and those talents to make a major contribution. And finally, you better find your green couch. Find that thing that's going to make it worth it for you. This is your time, class of 2020. The world needs you now more than ever before. Get out there and make your mark. This has been Andy Henriquez, and it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you. I am convinced that you're going to get out there and do some extraordinary things with your life. God bless you.